Hello, this is FG back with Gemradcurt. Picking up just a little bit where we left off. I haven't really done too much, mostly just sort of looking around and deciding where I was going to build forts to deal with the devastation. I'm building one in the capital. I will build one right here to take care of this area. Build one right here to take care of this area. And build one here to take care of this area. Along with probably one, yeah, right here. Okay. I went ahead and moved my army down here. The Hibernal Crusade was devastating for the Snegba. Thousands were killed or driven away from their ancestral homes and territories as Tuthak Crusaders marched north in hopes of conquering the winter once and for all. While this was undoubtedly a horrific time for the North, it also had some silver lining. The Snegba now have perhaps the greatest experience in guerrilla and irregular warfare on the continent. The Red Winter has proven this many times over. From the day whites and undead soldiers began to stream out with the Frost Spear, they and their Order Knight puppet masters have come under relentless attack from rebel fighters. While primarily this has been a costly but drawn-out process of attrition, ever so often the guerrillas achieve an astounding victory. Unfortunately, this has recently been the case, as a Tigan Order force was destroyed to a man by a surgical attack by an irregular rebel militia. With their whites and skeletal soldiers collapsing to dust or going berserk without their masters, the entire army is lost to us and it will likely be costly to replace them. Oh, okay. The Civil War has been bloody and destructive beyond measure. Entire regions of the nation lie in ruins, scourged by rebels and loyalists alike. While the normal process of rooting out entrenched guerrillas or striking out at Emrelian garrisons is responsible for much of this devastation, it is undeniable that the methods of the Igenrak, of fanatic human volunteers, yeah, human, sure. Volunteers who have taken Imriel's side during the Civil Wars have been instrumental in reducing much of the nation to tranquil ashes, charred and frostbitten corpses staining the snow red. Hall has been the latest victim of the Igenrak's White Terror. Much of the population has been slaughtered, and any rebels in the province frozen out of their holes and hideaways. Okay. There we go. When Einsag was raised in the realms of autumn brought under the control of Imriel, it was believed that the threat to winter posed by the Tuthak was permanently ended. But as the Snegboth settlers, administrators, and soldiers in Glothier have now found out, this was not the case. All across Tuthak majority cities in the west, Autumn Court fanatics and Tuthak separatists have risen in revolt, slaughtering any Snegboth they can find and reimposing the worship of Autumn through their controlled territories. While most of the revolts are localized, in Rytal, a far more serious threat has arisen. It seems that after the defeat of Rytal by Imriel and Gemradcurt, the sons of its last ruler, one Galhan Oakgardener, fled to the golden acres of Dorkurt, alongside a large population of loyalists, dispersing into the local population who were supportive of Galhan and his men in the face of Snegboth tyranny. They hid there for many years, waiting for the perfect moment to strike and reclaim their home. And that time is now. Already, Rytal has fallen to their new Oakgardener kings. And it seems that the western situation is on a precipice. If we are to prevent another Hibernal Crusade from occurring, we must deal with these traitors as quickly as possible. I guess the Oak Gardener King is probably a reference to a dead house from the Game of Thrones, or Song of Ice and Fire universe. When the Red Winter began, Gemradcurt divided itself cleanly in two between the supporters of Imriel and her stalwart enemies. Families and communities were divided as many took arms against their kin, defended the principles or liberties they would gladly die for. While the ever-deepening intensity of the Civil War dragged the populace into corresponding polarizations and radicalizations, the actions of the Imrelian regime have nonetheless been instrumental in driving both supporters and neutrals alike into arms against it. The latest cause of this phenomena has been in Argenrod, where the local population has risen in revolt against Imriel, refusing to acknowledge her agents or rule. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and just switch these armies since... Split that. Okay, we can do this. The Isle of Eggstrail has always been a desolate place, as far north as one can go in Airdan. Few have dwelt there, and those who do live a quiet life of fishing the frigid waters. But recently, these fishermen have discovered something quite curious. A smooth and clear substance upon the beach after a storm. Melted by the intense heat of lightning, sheets of curious one-sided glass are produced from the sands of the beaches, quickly decorating houses in Marathmas. From the inside of one's home, one can view the outside, while frozen glass prohibits outsiders from viewing inside. The sleepy island of Eggstrail has become known across Airdan for frozen glass, a true gem of the north. Okay. Send an army that way. R4. Okay. That was just the Witch King event. That's not unique to Gemradcurt. Collect the rest of this army. I'll go ahead and read this. The Northern Ducads have always chafed under the rule of Gemradcurt. The people were wary of the high taxes necessary for funding Imriel's wars, and they resented placing their kin under the command of distant and fanatical Tigan Order commanders. After the feast at Diet and the integration of both Ducads into Gemradcurt proper, this resentment grew and grew, and now Imriel's takeover has seemingly been the pebble that cracked the ice. The dispossessed former royal families of Gelkol and Rietokrab have each risen in revolt, raising sizable forces in defiance of Imriel's will. If we are to maintain the unity of the Snackboth people, these traitors must be crushed. Yeah, probably should have killed more of them. Okay, that's just a... Okay, that's one down. With the Tuthak rebellion put down and the last oak gardener slain before the walls of his city, the fate of our old enemies now lie completely within our hands. The events of the rebellion have shown that many Tuthaks are ungovernable, that their culture and way of life is antithetical to the rule of winter, and that we must change their ways through whatever means necessary in order to prevent another rebellion. However, with Imriel's grip on Gemradcurt slowly tightening, there's another suggestion. With her personal power growing by the day and the mechanisms of repression likewise growing in strength, would it not be possible to force the Tuthak to submit without diverting immense resources to their destruction? Whatever the choice, it will likely guide our future interactions with similarly unruly people. Imriel must choose wisely. So... yeah, let's just go ahead and kill them all. No, not all of them, but most of them. We will eventually convert these over culturally as well. More study progress. Okay. The White Terror. The northern betrayal of the traitor ducads of Gelko and Ryotokrab has shown Imriel the true extent to which rebellious forces have infiltrated the nation. Across the northern provinces, people of all stripes and backgrounds rose up in support of figures who had truly not been politically relevant since the realms had been subsumed in Gemradcurt all those years ago. The strength of anti-Imriel feelings was great indeed, and that strength required an equally strong response. While Tigan Order soldiers have everywhere rose to the task of weeding out traitors in the many towns and villages of the north, it was in fact a different force who had proved best. Compromised of ordinary Snekboth who have joined Imriel's side in the Red Winter, out of duty or loyalty or whatever else motivates them, these mounted warriors who call themselves the Eigenrak and bear an insignia of a white snowflake on a bloody field, have proved their worth countless times, reducing many regions of the country to submission through sheer efficient brutality. They have been the forefront of what the enemy call the White Terror, a campaign of police actions that have resulted in the deaths of many civilians, but have also been vital in securing the regime's survival. If we are to see the end of this civil war, this force must be organized and subsumed near direct control of the Tigan Order, so that we may employ them in even greater strength and numbers, and quickly reduce this realm to order. Yeah, go ahead. And we also get them as a mercenary company, which is... that's a good mercenary company. Our god. Okay. As one by one rebellious factions were dispersed or destroyed, many thought that this bloody phase of the Red Winter was finally drawing to a close, and that soon enough Imriel would rule uncontested over Aeirdan's north. With the news that Jahinar Truespear recently emerged from the Dramarad with a force of thousands of Strutmari and Tuthak refugees and emigres, Glade Wardens, and disparate groups of Snegboth rebels, all of those hopes and fears had been shattered. A powerful mage from Trimgarb, Truespear appears to have been granted passage through Damanrad in a similar fashion to the army of Iadat that once crushed the autumnal realm of Dulkort. His army emerging from the winter gates at Dungat and headed straight for the city of Gemradcurt. It is clear that if Imriel does not deal with this new threat with haste, all she has worked for may unravel before her. Okay. So, he go? Turn that off. Turn that off. True Spear's invasion of the Gemradcurt represented a crisis point for the Imralian regime. What are these cultures? Many within the resistance hoped that it would be the final blow that would topple the rule of the hated necromancer queen, and that the civil war that had torn apart their home would end in their favor. But as True Spear was slain and his army was shattered on the approach to Gemradcurt, those hopes melted away. Now it seems only a matter of time before Imriel achieves her final victory. But for the regime, the destruction of True Spear's army was nonetheless presents an interesting question. Though Tutok and Snegboth rebels also contributed to his force, the majority of his followers were Paytar, be they Strumari refugees who had fled to the Damanrod and other Paytar states, adventurers from Pelomar or Trimgarb, or Glade Wardens donated to the efforts by the Fae, abandoning their usual posts in an extraordinary effort to destroy the most existential balance ever seen in the region. While many in the regime wish for the Paytar to be punished for their transgressions, there are still those who argue that there is no need to waste resources persecuting a people who could more easily be brought to heel by other methods. No matter the answer, it will undoubtedly set a precedent for how we handle the Paytar in the future. The choice, like everything else in the north, is now in Imriel's hand. This is mostly a roleplay thing. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Like, the Tuthok, we definitely need to kill them. Like, there's no doubt about that. They have to die. But the Paytar... they haven't really done much to us. Really wish I could see. This is a hard choice for me. You know, I'm gonna go full monster. Okay. Here we go. Many expected the Civil War to end with a bang. Really, many expected that the destruction of True Spear's army would signal the near-instant collapse of a faltering rebel effort. They were wrong. Even after True Spear and his Paytar, Tuthak, and Snegboth forces lie dead on the fields outside Gemradcurt, rebels continue their guerrilla and irregular attacks on Taigan Order forces, and rebel armies continue the continued to near spontaneously rise against Imriel's tyrannical regime. Instead of a quick victory, the devastating civil war that has torn apart Gemradcurt for years ended not with a bang but with a whimper. As the months passed, rebel strongholds were broken, tax revenues increased, disobedience of agents of the state and Tigan Order knights alike declined, and massive amounts of undead soldiers raised for the defense of the regime began to be penned off or disposed of, no longer necessary for the new Gemradcurt, where Imriel reigns absolutely supreme. Finally, mercifully, the Red Winter is over. Ooh boy, that was pretty brutal. And this is the rest of our tree. Winter victorious. At last, victory is ours. The enemies of winter, though numerous and appearing from Snegboth, Pytar, and Tuthok alike, have all been vanquished, and the realm, Imriel's realm, is at peace once more. But the Red Winter tore our country apart, nearly fatally, and Imriel cannot shake the feeling that if her reign is to survive, and her reign is to be worthy of survival, something must change. Imriel knelt beside the fire in her office at the Frostbier, her hands so close to the flames that the skin cracked under the heat. It reminded herself of an earlier time, before she had set her own nation alight, and brought every measure of destruction to the land she called home. When she had sat by this fire and contemplated a terrible nightmare calamity made manifest, ruin written across the north in letters dripping red stained the very snow with blood, she saw, and she did not understand. She chose wrong, or at least that was the thought that kept her up at night. That followed her in her most private moments. That chilled her to her core. But there was something kept the faith in herself and her choice alive. She had won the struggle she brought on our nation, and now she was in an unprecedented position to mold it to her will, to throw every resource into ensuring this would never happen again. But those words still rang hollow. Sitting in this room by the fire, she remembered making the same vow, with a different antagonist. Something had to change. Imriel had to think differently. Safety, security, vital, yes. But had she really been treating them so? Or had those words just been a cover for the wrath burning desire for vengeance that had consumed her since she saw her home taken away from her by the Tuthak, since she had seen her family and friends alike slaughtered like vermin for reasons alien to her to this day? That wrath had reduced half the nation to ash. Imriel took her hands away from the fire. It didn't matter, really. She had lost most of her feelings in them long ago. She had remembered, soon after her ascension, resolving not to bother taking a new body until her old one had crumbled to dust or been destroyed. She didn't need to feel. She could exist apart from and above her own people. But that wasn't good enough. That attitude, that loss of feeling, had led her into committing the most terrible crimes. Imriel shook her head, grabbed a quill and paper from her desk, and wrote an order calling for a young woman of her height and size to be brought to the heart chamber. She would not rule as a cold skeleton, but as a flesh and blood elf, who ate and slept and adored the warmth of the fire just as her subjects did. She would still have to oppress her subjects, of course, crush dissent, break rebellion, stifle freedoms and liberty. But no longer would she do so as some cold tyrant, for her own wrath and rage and personal power, but for the prosperity of her people, so they may live in blissful harmony under Gemradcurt's banner and Imriel's protection. She would rule not as a military commander that would rule over Snegboth, as a bringer of calamity. No, as a mother of death. Not as a mother of death, but as Lady Mother of the Winter. Okay. Einseg. Let's see, what can I give out? So, that was a pretty... It's definitely not the worst disaster in the game, but it wasn't pleasant. A charm. Let's do enchantment. To the east of Gemradcurt lies Armadath, home to various minor tribes of Snegboth, who live contently in the hills and valleys of the area. But beyond that, past the Clatherrock and hills of Gemradcurt, lies a civilization nearly as ancient as our own, hugging a great river and ruled by a dragon god of unknown power. These rumors and whispers, recently confirmed by Snegboth scouts, have greatly worried Emriel. If the winter is to be protected, we must embark on a long march east in order to claim the resources of those frontiers for ourselves and deal with any threats to Gemradcurt that may exist beyond the mountains. Okay, so... I'm gonna go with a native coexistence because these are our people. Tech-wise, how are we looking? We're a little bit behind. Okay. Debase currency. Alrighty. Pay off that loan. Okay, I don't think they should be rising up. Okay. By the way, the Winds of Winter, that event that increases devastation, yeah, that doesn't go away. So, I guess to explain it is how it works is you have to build forts in order to reduce devastation. Otherwise, devastation will continue to tick up. For instance, all of these provinces, they won't get devastation. Fantastic. Alrighty. Okay. next we need to take, let's take higher developed colonies. So I can get through our missions dealing with the colonies faster. Okay. How much do my Einsag or Eingrenack riders cost? Jesus Christ. Okay. Time to begin rebuilding our army. Okay, I need to get enough money for a fort to go down here. Because that'll cover all these provinces, and then one right here to cover these provinces. Should have, okay, right here. Cantalism is right. Okay, who are these guys allied to? Okay, yes, forts. One needs to go here. Next one needs to go here. And then one right here. Yeah, right here, Dothamir. I'm actually gonna get rid of that. That was dumb. I really should have taken away that before I took tech. I can get military access from them. Imrael is a really good mage leader. Oh yeah, I saw one of you left a comment asking me to do, or saying that you would have liked to see a Pelamar run. And there's a good chance I might get around to that. But I don't really want to play the same region twice in a row, so it'll probably be a little bit before I do that. Cast some siege magic, earthquake. Oh yes, studying magic. I got the evocation, study magic, effort. I'm gonna see if I can get the legendary. Everything is turn my ruler to be good at everything. Because usually I don't get mage rulers particularly early, or turn them immortal. For instance, I think the best I've ever done as far as mage leaders was during my Black Demence playthrough. But Black Demence, you can only really get that around 1650. So it's difficult to really what's it called? Oh, shift. Send caps lock by accident. So it's difficult to kind of get all the way there just by virtue of it taking forever. I kind of prefer the money, to be quite honest. There's a fort there. Build a fort right here. And that will cover a good portion of my realm. I'll put one right here to cover these provinces. What? I'm actually gonna roll back, or do a reload real quick. Pretend like you didn't see that. I missed a tiny island. This really isn't... I don't consider that to be like truly save scumming. Just because it's not the fact that I screwed up or anything, it's just... I made a mistake. Okay, so this... Oh, I can't take it anyways. Oh well. this area. Yep, Buildern right here to cover these areas. And cancel military access. I'm actually going to split these forces up real quick. Give this one a new leader. Towards the Unseelie Court. I really wish you could go over to 7 pips, because I know that's a thing that this mod does with Mythical Conquerors. It's just, I guess they don't want the players to do it. How many of you guys who are listening who play this mod actually use Mythical Conquerors? Not just Great Conquerors, Mythical Conquerors. Like where, you know, all the characters are god tier. Like super soldiers. Like Alexander the Great. Let me get cultural change, because we are going to culture convert. Okay, take this guy, bring him up here. Okay, now, what do we have? Guess we'll try and maintain balance of power. We'll probably get things that override these later, but for right now, we'll just take that. Okay. Oh yes, there is one thing that I wanted to just show off real quick. A religion of the old Aelantir elves. Vedjogzn is a ritualistic worship of an everlasting fire created with Fey magic. Old Aelantir claims that long ago their people fought against the Frost King. Yeah. May or may not have something to do with that. Who was determined to make their lands his domain of permanent winter. The other inhabitants of the Fey of North Aelantir had been a mix of help and hindrance to the elves, until one day the changeling prince came and gave old Aelantir the gift of Vedjogzn, the eternal flame. With it, old Aelantir defeated the Frost King, pushing his spawn far north. Each old Aelantir tribe has their own Vedjogzn, which they meticulously maintain to this day. The flame symbolizes the tribe's unity, and it is said to protect them from the evil spirits and harm. Okay, for right now, I'm gonna get rid of... do I really want to get rid of that? No, I guess I'll keep it. This will cover these. This will cover these. I'll do that. Okay. Looks like we'll be able to manage to take everything from them. That should be everything. There we go. Alrighty. That army lost its leader. Or didn't have a leader on to begin with, I guess. I guess I have to turn them off. Okay. wish they gave us fort cost reduction at some point. Take that. Okay, so eventually I'll start reordering forts just to make everything as efficient as possible. And the iron hunger. Conversion. Where else can I convert? Let's look at... Where's the devastation map mode? Thought I had it somewhere. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this is what the devastation map mode looks like. Once I take this fort, these provinces will start ticking down. Once I take this fort, these four will start ticking down. But all these forts cost money. Growth at the port of Agripun. Okay, this can come off. Take the national unrest. Some experience. Alrighty. Our economy is stabilized to a degree. Now we just get to wait. Okay. Okay. And we need to start converting that. So I'll add them to as an accepted culture. There we go. That's an event from the Fey religion. Base currency, do that. All provinces. All provinces in these two areas. 0% chance of an uprising. I really don't want to take a loan just for that. Winter Court's looking good. take that yet. That won't last. Enforce religious unity on there. Native coexistence. Forgot to take that. Colonial charters. There we go. Forgot to give out those. Should help colonization go just a little bit quicker. Okay. Time to turn the army back on. Here. And explore North Ocean of the Lost. Gross. We have to take 2 Thok legions. Guess we can take trade ideas. Court, cutting a swath through Airdan. that. Do that. Go ahead and put a leader on this. Explore. Take everything. Do that, spring and summer. Explore. Okay. With the conquest of those areas, we should start seeing a reduction in devastation. New lands claimed. What do we got here? Take production. That should be all of these areas being converted over. 2. Ooh, that's gold. That's great. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gotta send these boys out again. So, what do we need? Need a fort right there. Okay, I will take that because how much is that? Oh, none of the adventurers have spawned in yet. Send these guys out to explore. Torn CC. Yay, legendary evocation. Sunset has a marketplace. I can do that. It's a level 2 center of trade. Okay. Where did they go? Here they are. Explore. Western Broken Sea. Okay. What's our time at? At an hour and 22 minutes. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. We'll come back later. I'm gonna go talk to the devs about this province. Okay, have a good day.